Their grandfather is a famous Indian hotelier.
I think of him as this, maverick entrepreneur with a vision.
It's a luxury empire with a daunting reputation to uphold. But cousins Amruta and Samyukta Nair are determined to help keep the family business alive and well.
This is what I want to do.
A celebration is underway in Chennai, India.
Cheers.
A hotel legend and his granddaughters are getting ready to launch their latest luxury project. The first guest will arrive in just weeks, the culmination of many months of hard work. But what has brought the family to this point? At the Leela Hotel in Mumbai, Captain Nair is sitting in on a meeting about the upcoming Chennai hotel.
It's almost 90% done.
Also present are sons Vivek and Dinesh, daughter-in-law Madhu and granddaughters Samyukta and Amruta. One side of the family oversees finance, the other design and food and beverage. C.P. Krishnan Nair had humble beginnings in rural Kerala. After the army, he got into textiles and made his name modernizing India's handloom industry. Then, at an age when most people would have retired, he decided to open a hotel near Mumbai airport and never looked back.
500-room hotel with all facilities. Sold out from the day one, even now.
Now 90, he still lives next to the hotel with his wife Leela, after whom the company is named. Their sons and grandchildren also share the mansion. For decades now, he's mingled with the powerful and the famous, including presidents, foreign royalty, and religious leaders. The second and third generations are following in his footsteps.
So this is my office. It's kind of small, but the good thing is that it's across the hall from my father, so that's what's more important.
30-year-old Amruta works on the finance side, conducting performance reviews and helping with budgets. She studied and worked overseas, but was drawn back to the Leela during a time of expansion.
I think, my father already started, dropping hints about 6 months out, so I had time to sort of ease into it. And I think I would have regretted it if I hadn't made the move, then simply because I'd have missed out on being a part of all of it. Hi.
Today she's attending a meeting on HR projections for the Chennai property with her father Vivek, who is the vice chairman and MD.
The executives are already in place. We are working very hard in terms of developing them as leaders.
Amruta works closely with her dad and also gets inspiration from her grandfather.
Bigger changes, it's easy. I think of him as this, maverick entrepreneur with a vision.
27-year-old cousin Samyukta works in planning and design with her mother Madhu, the director of interior design and operations.
Would be lovely to do like a Tanjore here, because it's very typical of Tamil Nadu, and then maybe on either side build it up with like a mother of pearl inlay panel or something.
Or like we can do like a motif then.
Yeah. Have this
Today, they're fine-tuning decor and deciding which art objects will be sent to Chennai for the new hotel.
It's old, it's an old piece. To blend, of course.
They're also checking items carrying the company's new logo.
The motif itself lends itself beautifully to the L, which is lovely.
You're right.
Well, I never started out wanting to join the family business. My father and mother thankfully never set out a roadmap for me saying this is what you are going to do. I was always allowed to choose whatever suited my fancy, which led me to doing a very diverse undergraduate degree and then doing a master's degree in business because I had to. My family was one that hailed in some sort of business, so I said, why not? I mean, you can't go wrong. And then when I moved home and I worked for 2.5 years and set the Leela Palace Udaipur and put it on the map as my first pre-opening project, it was just amazing. I think seeing the transition from paper to brick, stone, mortar to finally having it unveiled and opened said that this is what I want to do.
It's no small undertaking. There are now 8 Leela hotels, with more on the way. They're jostling for position with the Oberoi and Raj chains and have been racking up awards. Rooms at the Leela Palace New Delhi range from more than $300 a night to more than $11,000. The theme is traditional luxury with contemporary touches, especially in the artwork. The Delhi hotel is also linked up with famous restaurant names like Le Cirque and Megu, which features a huge glass Buddha. The goal of the company is deceptively simple.
My dream, I come every day here. My dream is to make the best hotel in every state.
Captain Nair has regular sessions with a physical therapist, part of his determination to stay at the center of company life.
Health is important. As long as we live, we must be fit and alert and able to talk, understand and direct. Now, at this age of 91, I am involved in all the projects.
But succession is obviously a topic of discussion. The chairman's 2 sons are the next in line, but the young cousins in the 3rd generation can see a time when they might run their respective branches of the business.
The review meetings is
In Samyukta's case, following on from her mother.
Professionally, I would want to take over what she does. It is an area of interest, and it's something that I can see myself doing.
The cousins' high-powered life is a balancing act between work and outside interests.
I think the pros are that you're surrounded by positive, creative people who are constantly driven. I suppose the cons are that your work goes home with you, because a lot of times the bigger discussions take place on the dining table rather than in a meeting room.
Coming up, getting away from a life of luxury.
It's nice to see life from another lens sometimes.
And later, counting down to the big opening.
And what I like, particularly about this property is that you've got this very young team that's so eager and ready to go, and they're just so happy to see you. One group, so this becomes the intro.
Amruta and Samyukta Nair are cousins who help run their family's luxury hotel group, the Leela.
With a gold frame? Yeah, I think so.
They have vivid memories of a childhood that was far from typical.
Running around the kitchen. So my sister and I would chase each other with water bottles and be squirting each other and all the staff around us. So I think running around the kitchens would probably be my earliest memory of growing up in the hotel.
So my favorite childhood memory was actually from my time spent in New York. My father had worked there, so Mum and I would constantly go visit him. And I would see my mum in super mum mode. She'd be making me waffles for breakfast and then making me lunch, and then we'd go grocery shopping, which was so completely different from my life in Mumbai, wherein I'd have room service and I've had laundry and I've had help to do everything that there was. So it was amazing to actually go away from a life that was beyond what we had in Mumbai and see how sort of other people live life.
They also remember the impact of their grandfather, the company chairman, and his famous guests.
Right through our childhood, we'd have these moments where our grandfather would invite us in to meet someone. And you never know who the guest would be, right? And so we've met everyone from, Bon Jovi to Margaret Thatcher, you name it. And so it was very exciting as children because, we always felt that, our granddad has the coolest friends.
So why did the young cousins not run off the rails like a lot of privileged youth do?
We've never been brought up with the notion that, oh my God, we're born to a really well-to-do family. Mum has always been mum and dad's always been dad. And, we've had discipline rules, and I grew up especially, with very strong values and culture that I had to sort of adhere to. I had to respect my elders, my parents. They always were in the know-how. I wasn't ever given wads of money and said, well, do whatever you fancy. So I grew up in a very solid home, which I think keeps me very grounded.
I think the basic fact of the matter is that if I have to be up for a meeting at 9 a.m., chances are I'm not going to be, out partying till late because I just wouldn't be able to function. So I think a lot of it comes not from, wanting to be the good kid. It's from being ambitious and being, wanting to be a part of what our family is trying to create.
But work isn't everything, and sometimes they need to get away. Amrutha goes jogging, a habit she picked up while living in Singapore.
According to me, the waterfront of Bombay is one of the most beautiful parts of the city. And so by coming out here in the mornings to run along the waterfront, it's a great way of being able to be a part of the city.
But it's also for a good cause.
Well, there's the marathon that takes place in January every year, and I run the half for a charity called Life Trust, which is basically an NGO that provides teaching aids to teachers in municipality schools. And so the idea, what keeps me going is the fact that I have to raise money for this charity, and that's what makes me wake up every morning and come out here.
Another passion is animals. Amrutha helps find homes for abandoned dogs, many of which have been abused, like one that had acid thrown on it. So someone from a life of privilege is helping less fortunate creatures.
No biting. No biting. Sit. So this is Helen, who's a resident dog. She came in as a rescue case, and then we've tried to place her 4 times, but she refuses to leave. So every time she goes to a new home, she somehow manages to find her way back here. And so now we've decided to stop trying to place her, and now she just stays here, right, as the permanent resident. Droopy. Sit.
Amrutha now shares her home with a dog called Droopy, who was beaten and starved as a puppy.
I decided to just take him on and brought him home, and he's been with me 3 months now, and it's been amazing, and that just reinforces my belief in the fact that opening out your home to an animal that's looking for one is one of the most fulfilling things you could do, because you get so much love and affection back. And he's had such a traumatic childhood.
Cousin Samyukta also likes to get away from the hotel to pursue her passion for photography.
It's nice to see life from another lens sometimes.
Today she's capturing a former Portuguese neighborhood that might be a threat from development.
Given the nature of my work, it's really an extension of what I do. And I like beautiful things. I have since I was a little girl. So what better than to document them? And that's how photography came about. I went to school in Switzerland last year, which is when I realized that I actually love taking pictures of beautiful things. That is when I bought my E60. And ever since then, it's been no looking back.
Her other big love is collecting art.
Okay, so this is what I've got so far. I've got a Badri Narayan, a piece of photographic work from Siddharth Dhanwant Sangvi. I've got Tushar Vagale, and then there's this. This is the one of the 5 of an Alice in Wonderland series from Nalini Malani. It came in as a present from a gallery friend of mine, and I saw it and fell in love with it at her gallery. But of course, collecting art is an expensive passion. So I'm now saving up to buy the rest. This art collection was really inspired by my mum. She told me at 25, let's start collecting something. Unfortunately, I took to art, but it's so expensive. I'm paving my way to a collection, really.
But work takes up the bulk of the cousins' time, even though their grandfather would like to see another dimension added to their lives, namely marriage.
It's just been so busy with, all our new properties coming online, coming back to India, joining the business, getting to be a part of all of this. So, to be honest, I don't think I really have given it as much time and effort as I should. And, I'd like to be married, but this is, what I'm busy with doing now.
Well, yes, I think I'd like to get married as well someday. I just don't know if it's very high up in the priority list right now.
Still ahead, the cousins and their grandfather head to Chennai to get their newest hotel ready for its launch.
Yes, I come to a place of my dreams.
And not even a cyclone will stop them. In Chennai, a cargo ship is in trouble after a cyclone. Nearby, workers at the new Leela Palace Hotel are seeing to trees toppled by the storm. The whole place is a hive of activity, with everyone determined that nothing will affect the grand opening, just weeks away. The chairman is in town from Mumbai to see how work is going.
Welcome to Leela Palace, Chairman.
He's escorted by the hotel's general manager. And then there's publicity with India's leading newspaper. The beachside hotel is the first of its kind in Chennai, and a lot is riding on it, attracting high-end visitors. The hotel is a special project for the chairman, who was educated in Chennai as a teenager and used to run along a nearby beach.
I feel thrilled, I must say, at the age of 91. I feel it's a culmination of human endeavor now in life to be able to do something like this.
The next day, the younger generation arrives. Amruta Nair is joined by sister Aishwarya, who consults with the company on food and wine. Cousin Samyukta is also on hand. Amruta heads to the back offices to get a progress report on the financial side of things.
So what's business on the books looking like for the month of November?
November is looking very encouraging, especially on the banqueting front. We have secured already about 4 weddings, big weddings. So with all the function, all in all, I think business on the books for November is about 2.5 crore.
She also wants to see how the staff are doing.
It's like being back in school and everyone's in teams and hearing it. What was your experience like with the pre-opening?
Just like family.
We're a part of this community, so it's nice to be able to give back also. So I think it's just an exciting time to be here. And what I like, particularly about this property is that you've got this very young team that's so eager and ready to go, and they're just so happy to see you. And so it's nice to be here and imbibe all of that.
Samyukta checks out the art and puts some final items in place.
So why don't you perhaps place this on the bar counter? This is where we, absolutely. This is where we, yes please. This is where we thought we'd keep it. Looks great, thank you.
Despite appearances, not everything is perfect. The hotel group is carrying heavy debt, something the chairman's wife asks him about regularly.
What have you done about the debt? What are you going to do it? And I said, that I will do it. No, what is the plan for it? Let me know. Do this way, that way. So we are fortunate. Leela is still among us and asking many many pointed questions for our improvement.
But the debt has been restructured, and the Leela Group plans to ride on India's growing tourism industry. It's moving towards an asset-light strategy, managing properties rather than owning them. And the young cousins are doing their bit to keep a lid on costs.
We always try to strive and find things that are more cost effective. However, we also like to look at developing new talent. So those kind of smaller measures are ways that we don't go over the top. And if at all there is something that is drastically over the top, then we're able to sort of take that and then juxtapose that with something that isn't as much in terms of price, but still looks equally beautiful.
For now, the storm has passed, and it's time to gather the staff for a pep talk.
In few weeks' time, by end of this month, the hotel will be fully commissioned for operation. And you, the bright boys and girls, will be my ambassadors, the Leela's ambassadors, to give great hospitality for every guest who comes here. Any guest who come here should go back and say, look, there is nothing like that in the world. Cheers.
And the Nayars celebrate amongst themselves.
If I had to sum it up in one word, I would say it's the feeling of being blessed. It was very special for me to be here with my grandfather and share that moment with him being surrounded by this young team, and for him to hear him talk about coming back to Chennai, to Madras, and so the word would be blessed and fortunate.
And since the champagne is chilled, I think we'd celebrate to sparkling new beginnings of a beautiful new palace.
For me, it's pretty much surreal and magical. You spend 18 months deliberating on things on paper, and you see it up in brick, stone, and mortar, and suddenly you've got people actually here with uniforms and waiting for guests. So yeah, it's finally here.
Exciting moment.
Really.
As another day passes ahead of the opening, the family is confident that the company flame will keep burning.